Imagine it's 90 days from now. You've been deploying these tactical sales skills on all of your clients that you're meeting with, and it's having incredible results. In fact, you just imagine how much more money you're going to make, how many more people you're going to help, and how good you're going to feel, because now your identity is one of the top closers. Imagine, what's that going to be like? Deals you used to lose now close themselves because you're implementing what you're learning on these videos. It's going to feel pretty good, right? Imagine looking at your new bank statements. Imagine looking at the leaderboard, seeing your name on top. Feel pretty good. What are people going to be telling you? They're going to be telling, dude, you're crushing it. What are you doing that's changed your sales tactics, that's changed your sales averages so much? What is it that you're doing? Can I follow you? Can I see exactly what you're doing? The manager, the owner of the company is going to be like, dude, what did you do? You made massive changes. The last video, I showed you how to put your customer in a state that they can easily imagine themselves having the desired effect of your product or your service. Where not buying will feel like a loss to the client. Well, that's exactly what we just did in the entry of this video and what I've done through the entire series of videos that you've now watched. This is video 8. And if you haven't watched the rest of those videos, I want you to go back and find the hypnotic sales course, and then once you go back to video 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, there's a reason why they're in order. The customer standing at considering your value proposition is considering something that they haven't experienced yet. And so they're weighing their, the risk of, trusting you, trusting the process, trusting the product against giving out their money and possibly not having a result of it. Numbers against nothing is it's your job to be able to paint a picture for them, paint an imaginary picture that they can see, feel, taste, hear, smell. The more senses that you can elicit inside of this future pacing technique, the better. Everybody's going to future pace their customers depending on their sales skills. Imagine being able to have this. What is that going to look like? How's that going to feel? What are people going to be telling you when you get this new roof? Or what are the things going to happen? What is your utility bill going to look like? How are you going to feel now that you're protecting and honoring your family? How are you going to address this once you have this? This is a future pace. Everybody typically does this. This is just a natural tendency that we want people living and living the outcome of our product. This is what we're going to do, is we're going to future pace and we're going to future test this to see if they're actually accepting it. People fight harder to keep what they have than to gain something. So if we get them into a position where they're truly living into that experience, they're going to fight a lot harder to maintain that experience than they will fight to get that experience. Fear of loss is probably one of the biggest motivating factors for people. So if you can get them to easily imagine and to live into the benefits or the outcome of your product or service, these people want to retain that. They want that feeling or that desired outcome. You want to get them to imagine or to feel, see, hear, smell. The best way to do that is like, hey, once you have this on your roof, like, how do you think you're going to feel? When the neighbors see that you have this, what do you think they're going to say to you? When your friends and family come over and they get to see you enjoying this product, what do you think they're going to tell you? How's this going to smell? How's that going to taste? Whatever it is, the sensory experience is how you get to someone to actually live into the outcome. The closer you can get them to live into it, the more they're going to take ownership of the outcome of your product. Now, we want to future pace this, so we want to get them so ingrained into imagining that they have the product that they can't live without the product. You want to elicit all of the senses, and some people have a more dominant sense. It's the 3 senses are, sight, hear, and kinesthetic, which is feel. So, like, understanding those concepts, and then you understand people a little bit more, and you could actually, there's a whole rabbit hole we could go in for that. But what I want to talk about is, like, you want to get them to imagine, to live, to experience the outcome of your product. You're going to ask them sensory questions. Like, what are your neighbors going to say? What is your family going to say? What are you going to see? How are you going to feel? Is your wife going to be super excited? Is your husband going to be super excited? You want to ask them these questions because it's going to elicit these modalities or the responses of the senses. Rewind to the first 30 seconds of this video. What did I ask you to do? I asked you to imagine yourself deploying all of these tactical skills that you've learned throughout this entire video series. If you followed instructions, you lived into that moment and you could see yourself easily and effortlessly practicing and deploying these tactical skills for better results. You looked at your bank account, looked at the sales leaderboard, you heard people talking to you, you felt good, you saw exactly the results on paper or leaderboard or your bank account, and The other thing is everybody was telling you were doing a good job. I mean, that's the really living into this experience. And by the way, this is kind of a made up experience. Every life is basically made up, and so you want to kind of make up the best outcome for yourself and getting yourself into this position. Future Pace is always going to be able to test to see if what you've told the customer has resonated with them. Because if you're trying to future pace them and they're not giving any sort of indication that they enjoy this or this is a pleasurable experience, then you got to go back up and you got some work to do, and then you future pace it again, and then you test it and see, okay, is this an enjoyable experience for them? And if it's not, then yeah, you still have to go back and you have to do some work. Maybe you hit on the wrong submodalities. Maybe you got to go back there and do some work at them. So do this, practice this. Your sales game will be infinitely better, especially when you do a combination of all of these things throughout the entire sales process. I don't care if you're prospecting or closing or just communicating, if you're communicating to somebody. So what do we do typically with if you have kids? It's like, hey, you guys act good, we'll do this. And they're like, yay, oh yay, we'll be good. That's future pacing right there. Like, oh, okay, yeah, we're gonna be good because now we wanna be good so that we get to experience that. They're living in the moment. They're the quickest to be able to get into that future pace because they want that experience. So imagine just being able to do that with your kids, wife, with your husband, with your relationships, inside your customer context. Once again, this is a practical application for all applications. 2 videos left. The next sales video is the deepest lever you can get. You're gonna wanna tune in and you're gonna wanna watch it. This will up your sales game and it'll have you effortlessly and easily close anybody, anywhere, anytime. So I look forward to seeing you there. Thanks.